To another stream, and I'm continuing my Watch Me Work live stream for today. Finally, took me a little bit to get back to you, my friends. We're gonna continue working, but this time we're gonna be working on something else. I have another shot here that I have to finish for the game project MS Salmon, which means we are back in Moho and we can use this wonderful rig that has this super handy 360 control thing that took us a lot of time to set this up, but I did all of this on a live stream too. If you're interested on how to do this in Moho, you can at least watch it a little bit. Yeah, this is a rig version where I still have everything hooked up to this like 3D controller. I mean, it's not 3D, it's all just layers being shifted around, so it looks like a 360 degree kind of thing. Oh, let me check if I have the chat tool already active. Just gonna... that on again. Hello, Brainburns, Pratik. Right, says 2 streams in one day. Yeah, you won't believe it that I actually do 2 streams in one day. Like I would be happy if I could do 2 streams a week. That would be a good goal first. But yeah, today you're gonna get 2 streams. Yeah, no, I have a lot of work that I can share, fortunately, with the world right now, so we're gonna use that. Hello, Scott. Nice to see you again, too. Alrighty, so the shot we're going to animate now is already loaded up here as a... I keep moving stuff around that I don't want to move. I have to get used to the... So apparently you use right click in Moho to move around. It's so confusing when you come from another software where you were using the middle mouse button and stuff like that. Then it can be a little bit confusing when you switch softwares in one day. But yeah, so in the background you see the animatic of the shot that we're going to animate. Of just him closing the door. Like, that's it. That's the thing that we have to get done today. And we're gonna do the door frame by frame later. I'm not sure if I want to try the frame by frame capabilities of Moho. I heard they are better now. They have better frame by frame possibilities, so maybe we're gonna discover that, or we're gonna switch back to Open Toons or Harmony to do the frame-by-frame door. But yeah, of him closing the door, or for him closing the door, we're gonna use the rig. I'm gonna switch that on right here. Hi, animation. Hey, Pratik. Become like me. I'm not so sure how much I'm someone to aspire to, but ah, look, this is like the perfect this is like the perfect setup that we have here. All right. So we're gonna position him like we have in the animatic. Oh yeah, for the scale, I'm better using the whole entire rig layer, scale that up. So something like this. I do want to see the belt. That would be nice. He's a bit more chubby in the animatic. I hope that's okay, that we're gonna work with this. Alrighty. And then we can already start with the first pose here. Do I have everything set to stepped? I believe so. It's setting stepped keyframes, meaning we have no interpolation to worry about. And he can just close the door. How does the door actually, it opens to the, okay, it opens to the outside. Is it actually? I feel like this is the more sensible frame, like have him... I don't know, do we want to see the door right from the beginning? That is the question. Thank you, Brainbirds. Oh my god, I keep hitting the middle mouse button instead of the left mouse button to move the viewport around. So I don't know. I feel like I need to have like a little bit of a perspective already going on here. Oh no, this bug is back. The balloon arms. Whoop. Whoop. We kind of have to fix this rig first. Maybe we should do that first. Oh boy. I think I know why it does that. It's because we have the on the 360 rotation. Oops. On the 360 rotation, wherever that bone currently is, we have the width of the arms is changing, and it's unfortunately always coming back. Hey Jack, yeah, Open Toons is definitely worth checking out. Do I fix the rig first? I should have a look at the rig. Open. Now, where's the rig? Let's get it. So I think I already fixed a couple things, didn't I? No, I did animate this one. And I should not do that. So I have more freedom when we do the actual animation. See, is the bug happening right now? No. But it was definitely happening when we had him here. There. Okay, so let's see if we can figure this one out. Where is the perspective timeline? Let's leave perspective dial, body rotation. And let's make sure that we're not animating this one. No, this one. Because this one changes the thickness of the sleeves. We're gonna get rid of that everywhere. And same on the other side. Gonna get rid of this. Oh, they are marking the frames now that have an animation on them. That's very handy to see. I think this wasn't as clear before. Right. Okay. Same with the patches here. We do want to animate them outside. Scott asks, what's this shot for again? Personal or professional? Kinda a mix. Is a friend of mine, he's working on like a very wild point and click adventure game. Well, it's like with this detective, and it's dipping into many different genres. Like there's a shooter part, there's a point and click adventure part, there's a slide puzzle part, and the cutscenes are very traditional. Well, it's not traditional animation, but very cinematic. So I'm animating on these cutscenes, and it's a very fun project. But there is a little bit of money behind it. Like he managed to, to scrape together some funds and stuff. So it's a personal project that kind of became a more professional project, which is pretty cool. Okay. So let's see if we still have the bug when we go out of this. Yeah, we do still have the bug. That's wonderful. Why is that then? What else do we have? What else are we doing? We have the... Which bone is it? This is the... Where's it showing the bone name? Yeah, I mean, this is nice to get a list, but... Where do I see which bone I have selected? And why is this the first time ever that I noticed this problem? Oh no, it's here. B21. Great, that does not help me. I think it's this one. Let's go to the other side to see what's going on here. Okay, we have a little bit of a animation here. Maybe that's the problem. Gonna take both of those off. If I had known how many problems it causes to put too many smart actions on the rig, I would have not done that. Locke says, I just completed my first action animation. That's cool. Congratulations. Yeah, it feels good to dip into something new, right? Alrighty. Okay. Let's do the same for the other side. Arm L lower should be the one that we're looking for now. Arm L lower there. Rid of this. And please, 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 if we jump back into the main line. Why is this happening? Oh, because they still animated in the arm thickness layer? Ah, let's get rid of that. And arm R lower. This is the amazing part of rigging, where you're just hunting for bugs. Arm R thickness. Let's get rid of that. And be amazed that the bug is still there. Oh my god. Hey, it's Panda. We kinda just started now. Soda Pop, do not know if I should get Moho 13 Pro version or the Pro version of Resolve 17 with Speed Editor for the same price. Huh. Like the video editing software? I mean, I guess it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do projects that are more fit. Like, Moho is kind of specialized on these sort of rigs. Oh, what? Why is this still working? Why is the arm thickness slider still working? I do not understand that. Arm L thickness. Why are you still working? You should not be working. Arm L. Arm L. I took the animation off, I swear. Oh, the upper arm is still doing it. The lower arm should not be doing it. Okay. Arm L, upper. Arm L upper. Can remove those. And arm L lower for this one. Arm R lower. No, arm R upper. This one. There are still keyframes here. Go away. Okay. But that should not make a difference. Oh, does it make a difference? Okay, the flippers are still reacting, but no! What is happening here? What is happening here? Hello, Giovanni. Fairlight, Soda Pop says DaVinci comes with Fairlight Audio and Fusion 17 with the best color grading in the industry. Yeah, the DaVinci stuff is really known for their color grading. I mean, it's like both is a good investment, and if you're into like live action video editing and color grading and this stuff, then DaVinci is certainly a good tool to have under your belt. Yeah, Master, try Open Toons. Like, especially if you think about getting Harmony, like Harmony makes sense for like the rigging part of it, but Open Toons is very similar in, like, especially the more complicated stuff. Like, at first you need to understand how it saves drawings separately, how drawings are still linked when you copy and paste them. This is something that Harmony works very similar, and you need to understand that first. It's like a little bit of a steep learning curve, how colors are linked, how drawing names are linked, and this stuff. And you can already practice that with Open Toons. Open Toons is very powerful in that regard. And then you can make up the mind if you need more, if you need the additional features from Harmony or not. Glitching? Is the stream glitching? Anybody having problems with the stream? Because my software says that everything is going okay. Okay, I have another idea. This layer so far is a point bind. I was binding the points from the, what is it, lower left arm. Oh, he means Moho. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it is glitching here. At first I thought it was because I was kind of pushing the limits on this program, like to do the 360 turnaround thing. I did like smart bones on top of smart bones on top of smart bones, and I was like, there is like blend shapes 3 levels deep, or controllers that control the same thing. And I thought like, well, of course it doesn't work, because, you know, there are limits. If you have 5 bones controlling the same point, of course it's gonna mess up. So originally I thought that that was the problem, but we have taken everything off. We have taken everything off. So this is just Moho messing up, not being able to do this. I don't know. I guess the scale is, yeah, the scale is the problem. Do I have anything active on this? Like there is like a squash and stretch. There is a squash and stretch mode, but I don't have that active. Like, that's actually kind of cool that as you stretch it, it will make the arm thinner and thicker. Oh, now it messes up completely. Yeah, so much for we just gotta use the rig real quick. Maybe I should do it frame by frame. But we already put so much work into the rig, I kinda do not want to abandon it. And I actually do have fun working on the rig. Okay, so one last thing we're gonna try. We're gonna use the arm L lower. That's that one. And we're gonna release the point bind. However you do this. Release layer and points. Now it should not move anymore. Yeah. On the main line. And instead of a point bind, we're gonna use the layer binding. Gonna use a layer bind. And then the layer bind will hopefully not destroy. Will hopefully not destroy it. Which program is better, Open Toons or Tahoma 2D? Well, there is no clear answer to this. Tahoma 2D is based on Open Toons. It's a fork of Open Toons, and the person maintaining the fork is doing a good job putting new functions in it and making the what is it called? The interface a little bit tidier and nicer, and hides some options for you, makes some options more prominent. Already packs a video encoder with it, which is great because then in Tahoma 2D you can immediately export videos without having to do anything. So if you like these functions, there are also some cool plugins for like to work with certain cameras for stop motion and things like this. If you like these features, or if you need these features, then Tahoma 2D is a good pick. I'm always a little bit I'm always a little bit careful with forks, because I feel like open source projects have more support in the main fork, because there are more people working on the main fork. Now, Open Toons isn't a product that evolves incredibly fast, but I don't know. I kind of have made bad experiences with forks of software suddenly breaking or not being maintained anymore. I don't think that is going to happen with Tahoma 2D anytime soon, because the maintainer is very, very good and doing some great work over there. I'm just always like, I don't know. I like to use the main fork of open source projects. But here, even in the community, are a lot of people who are fans of Tahoma 2D, and I can see why. They make the some of the obstacles that you have getting into the software, Tahoma 2D manages a lot better than Open Toons. Although Open Toons is kinda catching up, like with their newest interface workspace changes in 1.5, they're already a lot more friendly to work with. So I would say look at the options that Tahoma 2D has additionally to Open Toons. I also heard from another streamer who's doing all his projects in Open Toons that Tahoma 2D handles imports a little bit better. Like you can import, I don't know what it was, layered Photoshop files or something like this, and Tahoma 2D would still maintain the layers, something like this. Like a very specific case where Tahoma 2D behaves differently than Open Toons. What you should be aware of, you can jump from Open Toons to Tahoma 2D, but I don't think the other way around is that easily possible, because the Tahoma 2D files are slightly different. Tahoma 2D can read Open Toons, but not the other way around, at least not with some manual work on the files. Yeah, and SodaPop, the Clip Studio Paint timeline export. That's a very good hint too. Like, you know, you can marry some programs together nowadays, so it's just pretty cool. Ah, thank you, It's Panda. Never animated on PC, watching your videos helps me learn. I'm happy about that, yeah. That's great, keep on going. Ah, and SodaPop is also mentioning a whole lot of anime plugins for everything. Also export to PSD, to Paint, TV Paint now directly. Yeah, I think that is like the right strategy, you know, that softwares can work together depending on what you want to do. And what did I want to do? I wanted to bind this arm layer to the bone. Now how was that? I need to select the bone. Select it. Do bind layer. We're going to bind this layer to that bone. Ah, that's how it works. Okay. Let's jump into the main timeline. Ooh, yeah, okay. No weird, I mean, it looks weird, but we don't have this weird pushing of the tangents. Maybe that's the way to do this. Oh, we do have squash and stretch still active. It's kind of cool, isn't it? But why does the outline get so much thicker? I guess volume goes into the outline. Does it render it like this? Let's render it. What was it? Control R? Oh, I forgot we're rendering in 4K. Okay, yeah, it makes the outlines thicker. Why would it do that? Okay, if we switch off oop, the if I switch off the squash and stretch bone constraint, then it should just be scaling. Why do the outlines grow thicker? That's weird. Is this an option that I missed somewhere? I'm not having the best time with Moho today. So show me the layer settings, scale compensation. Does scale compensation, is that to blame for the thicker lines? Yeah, it is. Okay, that sucks. So, I mean, I do like that the lines can shrink or grow depending on if I scale the rig up or not, but if it's gonna give me odd lines when I scale the arm, then I might as well have not activate this. Oh boy. Nothing is working today as it should. That's unfortunate. But you know where you can animate, how to animate like things. A couple tutorials that I have where things do work out is, for example, my 2D animation tutorials. I have one on Skillshare where I animate this goblin and this orc fighting over some food. So that's one of the tutorials that is available right now on animatorisland.com/2D, embedded in our free 2D animation course. And yeah, if you want to figure out how to if you want to find out how to animate this animation step by step, please go to animatorisland.com/2D. And one thing I also want to mention is our Patreon. No, down here. You can go to patreon.com/animatorisland, support us there, and there is the group mentoring there. If you join Patreon in the group mentoring tier, you can access a group mentoring session every single month where you can bring your work, and that can be anything. That can be the script for a film, an animatic, a storyboard, it can be an animation shot that you're currently working on, your demo reel, and a professional mentor like me will give you feedback on how to improve it. And yeah, I can also draw over your drawings, give you hints, tips and tricks and advice, and also some exercises if you want to grow and improve your art skills even more. So that's the group mentoring on Patreon. Check that out on patreon.com/animatorisland. Yeah. I'm gonna do a quick break, and then we get back to messing with the rig, and I give me another half an hour before I stop messing with the rig and maybe switch to frame by frame. I don't know. See you in a little bit. right, and we're back. Yeah, Soda Pop. I think we already talked about Kakani. I really want to try it. It looks so good. How it can do like this morph interpolation kind of thing. I mean, I assume that it's still a lot of manual work to use this in-betweener, but it does look so interesting. So what are you doing in DaVinci? You're doing the compositing and the video editing, like stringing the shots together, or what does it use? What do you use it for in your workflow? Okay, so after having destroyed some functions in my rig, I thought if the problem was really the point binding versus the layer binding, we could maybe just go back to that shot here and instead of the point binding, use the layer binding, but let everything else still be active. I think if that's already enough, that might be a good solution for us. I need to go in the main line in this view. Why do I keep using the middle mouse button? Is Open Toons? Do they use the middle mouse button? Panda wrote during the break, I don't know what to do, so I'll stay here. At least I have some nice music. But you know what? Just get out your sketchbook and sketch a little bit. You know, practice every minute that you have. What do I want to do? Okay, point binding instead of layer binding. No, other way around. Layer binding instead of point binding. So let's jump in, find our layer, the arm L lower? No, arm R lower, the right one, right? I don't know, let's do both, since we already found the right arm here. Since we already found the right arm here, let's do that one. Bone, no. What is it? Release layer endpoints. Still don't trust it. Yeah, I gotta check. It's not moving anymore, so now we're gonna bind it to that one. There we go. That's it. And now we switch to the arm L lower, release the point binding, release layer endpoints, and bind it again to this one. Ha, and the bug is gone. It looks a bit wonky, but the bug is gone. That's good. This is for a game that a friend of mine is working on. And it's gonna be a commercial game, gonna be available in Steam, in stores, hopefully. And it has a lot of cool cutscenes and cinematics with this film noir penguin detective. So yeah, this is for something actual productive. Okay. So let's use... Where's the big perspective slider? Oh, it's here. So... How high is the door handle? Isn't it? Let me go check at my door how high a door handle is. I'll be right back. Okay, it's like belly button height. Finally answered this question. It's so crazy that how we don't really know. Like if somebody asked you at which height is a door handle exactly. It's so crazy. We use door handles every day, but we can't answer that from the top of our head if we don't have consciously paid attention to it. And I'm not a background artist, so I usually don't draw doors. I don't think I have ever animated a character actually touching opening a door. Let's move him over a little bit. And I think we're getting close to our pose. I would like him to be a little bit more... like he's actually going out, you know, he's actually looking in that direction. I think that would be quite nice for it. Dominic, this is for a cutscene, right? Yeah, this is a cutscene. A lot of the in-game like walk cycles and stuff has already been animated. What software is easier to handle, Toon Boom or Moho? Moho, clearly, 1,000 times easier. It's a little bit more limited than Harmony, which is why it is easier to learn. But you can sit down with a good tutorial, like from McCoy Buck. He has an excellent course on Udemy. And learn Moho. If you're already kind of familiar with rigging and stuff like that, you can, I think you can learn Moho very fast, very quickly, and you will have good results very quickly. Okay, bye, it's Panda. Nice that you could pop in here in the live stream. Hello Akash, nice to see you. It's like pronouncing names on stream is always so like the moment you start reading a name out, you're like, should I pronounce this more German or more English or yeah. Hello Isabella, thank you. Okay, so I think we have the first pose here. Let's switch on and off, raked. And animatic, yeah, I think I like it. Maybe we can make him a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. Let's use the layer scale for that. Greetings to India then, Akash. Hello, Ilo. Joined your channel recently. Yeah, welcome, welcome. Get comfy and watch me curse at my own rig. This is apparently what we're doing today. Okay, so we're gonna put the shoulder patch here. We're gonna put this patch. We're gonna put this patch. Let's hide it a little bit more. Let's hide it completely. Like, I don't want to have too much detail here. Like, there's a lot of detail, a lot of lines meeting that draw the attention to this side of the screen, and I kind of don't want to do that. So, whoop, let's get rid of this. So let's maybe animate this one on frame 13 of him closing the door again. Oh, that's the hat only. I want to do. That's both the pose. Dominic asks, what is your project frame rate? The frame rate is 24 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken. I should actually have checked that before I started animating. But yeah, I think it's 24 frames per second. Because that's just the nicest frame rate for animation project setting. And since we're doing this as a sort of personal project, it's really good that we can do our own choices here. So I can't change the layer order, I'm fairly certain, because I changed the layer order in the smart bone of the whole body rotation. Sodapop says Resolve 17 is essentially Premiere, Audition, and After Effects in one software for free. Cool. Oh, I've never thought about using it as a substitute for After Effects. I really need to look into that. So we were talking about frame rate. Yeah, the frame rate is 24 frames per second, but we are going to animate on 2s or even on 4th to get like a little bit of a choppy frame by frame feeling. Okay, so I can't change the layer order. Great. Okay, so one cool frame I think that we have in the animatic here is we have him leaning back here where his body is still relatively straight. His arm is still relatively straight while coming back. That's very bad for the layer order. But you know what? We can change the layer order in the body rotation one. So when he is going behind, here, this is the layer order. We can make sure that the lower arm and the hand are under the upper one. And now we need to the patch are all the way up. So this is not working. Yeah. Drag pans every second that you see is 24 connected pieces. Where's that from? Hello, GLPPW2. I can't undo. Why can't I undo? Undo my mistakes! You do have a Ctrl Z option. Oh no, it works again. It actually did undo it. Okay. Then what else did I undo? The next trick I'm gonna do differently. That's the thing with rigging. You're always like, I should have done this completely different. You know what we can do? We can switch off the layer. We can switch off the arm L lower. But you do it differently. I think in the quick settings, yeah, you have to uncheck visible. And we're gonna do the same thing for the hand. And the sleeve. All right. Are you familiar with force anatomy books? I wonder how well this technique would work with animation. No, I haven't heard about it. It's a technique to learn? Okay, where's our keyframe for arm L? And sleeves. We need to put this on frame 13 as well. Maybe we do have to turn him a little bit more. The cool thing about the rig is once we are done with our pose, with our animation, we do have him already colored and everything. So I think we will catch up the time that we'd lost. All right. I think this, just flipping through it, is working quite okay. Looking up the force anatomy. Serious. Cover looks very interesting. Definitely have to look at anatomy again. The Fiona Adventures, watching this instead of doing my own animation work. Yeah, I mean, you can do both. You can keep a live stream open and work on your own stuff a little bit, at least scribble. That's what I did for the longest time. I mean, now that I'm live streaming myself, I barely watch any streams anymore. But, you know, I very often, like, especially when it's like a brainstorming or a coloring phase, I would just open up a stream or listen to a podcast. I kind of was always happy about these more tedious work steps where I could listen to something on the side. All right, let's find a good frame for the middle. That was just the head. Have him close the door. Why is there a motion that is not... Oh, because we didn't set a keyframe here. How did that happen? Now we have a keyframe. At least you can somehow tell now what he's doing. Okay, we should save. We haven't saved all live stream. Save as. Let's actually create a version. So we can always come back to this early stage. Added, this is Moho. Hello, Mr. Fube. We come back. Welcome back. Can I move the patch? Ah, yes, I can. So we get rid of that line. Okay, back to the rig. So can I key all? Animation, add keyframe? May contain sublayers. Do you want to add keys to the sublayers too? Let's say no for now. Yeah, that worked. That keyed the stuff that I didn't get yet. Very interesting question in the chat right here from Adit. Do you think rigging in animation makes it stiff? Yes, definitely. As soon as you work with anything rigged, and it doesn't matter if it's 2D or 3D, it can look very stiff, and you have to apply, in your animation you need to be aware of it and work against the stiffness. I think 2D animation, just traditionally drawn frame after frame, can be a lot more lively. I wouldn't say with less work, but I don't know, you get the impression that it's stiff not so easily with like traditional animation where you draw frame by frame. So yeah, and to me it's something that I'm constantly trying to overcome in my rigs. Like, I want my rigs to be very squashy and stretchy, and I like 360-degree rigs where you can softly animate the character to pop into all angles. Like, basically for many of my projects, I try to make it that way that people wonder, like, is this actually a rig or is this frame by frame animation? Like, that to me is the perfect 2D rigged animation. If you're doubting if it's actually rigged, and there are very good studios out there, like Bardal Entertainment, like gosh, there was this other one that do like very fluent harmony rigs, like in series like Wander Over Yonder or something like this. I really love the animation, because you can't tell that it is rigged. But it's certainly a lot of work to make it appear not rigged, and there's probably a lot of frame by frame preparation involved. And yeah, and basically, you know, if you put in more poses that are squashing and stretching, that also takes time, but it can, again, make the rig less stiff. So, really good question, really big thing, good thing to be aware of. And then there are those series where it doesn't really matter, like in South Park, the stiffness is part of the concept. Like, you can make the stiffness into the animation style, basically. and then you can get away with it. So yeah, very different approaches to this. And personally, my favorite challenge is to make a rigged animation appear as if it isn't rigged. That would be amazing. New YouTube subscriber. Hello, Henrique. Welcome aboard. All right. I'm gonna pop out again for a short break, but before I do this, I want to show you some more tutorials that we offer on animatorisland.com/2D. One of them, one of the recent ones, is actually a logo animation, this one. On Skillshare, I show you how to animate this logo animation. Step by step, it's done in Open Toons using the keyframe animation, and the font in the middle is being masked and slowly revealed. That creates the writing effect. And I walk you through how to do this logo animation in our Skillshare tutorial. You can find it as part of our 2D class on animatorisland.com/2D. And yeah, then in the same course, I also show you how to do this animation with the goblin and the orc hitting each other. That's on animatorisland.com/2D. And also, we have Patreon. If you want to support us, if you want to help me make more video tutorials and live streams, you can support us on patreon.com/animatorisland. One of the coolest things there is the group mentoring. If you join in the group mentoring tier, you can be there for a live mentoring session with me every single month, where I'll give you tips, tricks, and advice, draw over your drawings and animations, and help you to improve it. Maybe give you some exercises to improve your art skills that you can work on in the meantime. And then the really cool thing about this is that every month you have a deadline to work towards. You know, you have to make progress in your animation, in your drawing and painting to show it to the group. So if you're struggling like with accountability, with you know, doing progress, keeping up the work habits and stuff like that, then the group mentoring could also be a great tool to overcome this. So yeah, that's the group mentoring on patreon.com/animatorisland. All right, I'll do a short break and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. And we're gonna continue this animation with the penguin. Be right back. right. And we're back. Hey, fellers. Just because that is the place that you are watching from, you don't need to assume that about me. Alright, we're gonna jump back into the animation here. I am still missing a frame where you have like the arm like super stretched out. I think that would be nice. Because I like it if something happens in the mid motion that is a little bit different, a little bit of an offset and overlap, and I think it could be really good if the body is already halfway on the way, but then stretching out the arm. So maybe why not right from the beginning? We need a little bit of an ease. Why not map this out right now? So we have the arm being kind of stretched, which gives us now this frame. Where we have a little bit of distance to cover. Yeah, I think that could work believably. Maybe we delay the closing of the door a little bit. Oh no, I was doing this one next to the keyframe. Hey, funny meme. You know what? Let's keep the arm how it is for a couple of frames and see if that fixes the problem. So let's just copy and paste those frames and see what happens. Instead of doing something new every frame, it can be good to sometimes just hold a body part so you have some more time to clearly see it. Mm-hmm. We could also let the interpolation help us if we find some poses where we think like, okay, that's it. That's how we want it to be. And then we can let the computer do the interpolation and see if we actually like that better than the frames that we are currently generating. Not bad. Let's add some overshoot in the head. Let's have him be on the way out of that overshoot, of that drag. I think we're getting somewhere now. What is everybody doing today? Are you working on your own animations? Do you have schoolwork? Do you have a day off? Okay, let's make this one earlier. Turn it into an ease later. And actually, this could be the ease. Thank you for subscribing. Tia. Welcome aboard. Now, where were the layers that we hid? I think they were the left arm, lower hand, and sleeves. Now need to push you a little bit over. Oh, and we missed sleeves. Yeah. We're getting somewhere. Kinda gave up hope for that. But this is actually not bad. Let's switch off the animatic and see it isolated. That's quite decent, I think. Now maybe we can work with the arm stretch a little bit more. Okay. Now we can have a little bit of a drag in this arm. And have it being dragged behind a fair bit before it also comes to a stop with an ease. Let's cut it off. Mm-hmm. All right, now that we got this part done, we can, for the rest, rely a lot on the 360 controller that we already have, because he's gonna turn a little bit to the left. And there's one frame in the animatic where you see his beak again. I think this is his beak. So I think we're gonna push him a little bit in that direction. Hey Dominic, welcome back. Let's keep the animatic switched on. So oh, come on, just give me a fluent playback. This is a bit too much action for that other arm. Distracts from the main action. Yeah, this one is too much. Oh. Here. I like that this has a little bit of like a stop motion thing. We're like always working on the puppet. Moving it ever so slightly to create new keyframes. Thank you, Whiskey. That's nice to hear. Well, it took long enough. We had a little bit of a rough start with the rig. But yeah, now that we actually got to animating. It's Panda, you have so much motivation to animate. I would give up when trying to draw the character. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need to push yourself. Sometimes, you know, there are good and bad days, like in every job. Because that's what animation basically is. It is a job. And I think it's a, you know, there's sometimes the misconception that like artists are happy all the time to work on their stuff and are always so motivated, and that's what you see a lot when people are working on art streams or when you're watching making offs. Of course, these people are presenting their creative spirit and their creative side, but there are hard times, like for every artist. And there are times where you don't have motivation and need to find it again. That's completely normal. And it can be trained. If you train or force to push yourself, it gets easier. You know, it's like going jogging and stuff like this. But if you turn it into a habit, it gets easier. If you learn certain tricks about how to animate faster, more efficiently, how to deal with mistakes, how to deal with slumps, how to deal with if something doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. And you know, that just comes with experience. That just comes with working on it. Fellas in all caps, what animation are you working on? I'm working on a game project. This is a penguin character for a game. Oh, I have a very cool... The director sent me a background. It looks so good. Oh, did I not save it? I had it somewhere. Wanted to show it to you. Oh, we're gonna look at it later when we're animating the door, because I have to animate the door how it is in the background. Yeah, it's a point-and-click adventure game with like shooter elements and puzzle elements around this penguin film noir detective. It's called MS Salmon, and it will be available on Steam once it's done, but that's gonna take a while. And we have these beautiful animation cutscenes that I'm very happy to animate some from. You know, here is like a multiple choice question if the character wants to go out now, and if you say no, I don't want to go out now, he closes the door of his office again. I don't think I want to move this one. Just the head. Okay, hey Ido. Hey Cynthia. Love penguin. Dominic asks, are there official fundings for games in Germany? Yes, and that is actually the reason why this game can be made, because the director, a good friend of mine, he managed to convince the funding platform. It's like of the state that we are living in. They give out certain amounts of money for prototypes, and he pitched the prototype to them, and he gave he convinced them to fund the project. So we have a couple €1,000 to work with here just for the prototype, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm very happy that he asked me to help with the cutscenes and stuff. Hi, Seven. Welcome back. You guys are fighting with the bots. Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to put it kind of sensitive. The first live streams we did got flooded by malicious bots and people who were just spamming emojis and spamming stuff in all caps and stuff like that. That's why the bot is kind of strict with it. And I know you guys don't mean any harm, but you know, there are people who just go into random live streams and then just flood them with stupid chats, and I don't know. I don't like it too. I don't like it that we have to have like a chatbot censoring stuff and unfortunately being a bit sensitive. But yeah. Yeah, in Germany we have both. We have very good film fundings and very good game fundings. So I'm in a quite good position here. Because, I mean, traditionally, like film fundings in Germany, they either fund art, which means like you're not supposed to understand it. It's just expressive and crazy and abstract. Like that's the kind of animation film that gets funding in Germany. And the other side is like those very commercial, dull rom-com live action cinema that for some reason gets funded the hell out in Germany. Like, I don't know, like you can have very stupid ideas and get funding for it as long as television is involved. And animation, unfortunately, is a little bit tricky because, you know, animation is very expensive. So the animation films we have in Europe very often involves a lot of countries, a lot of TV channels, a lot of production companies working together on a film. And how do I put it? If a lot of people with different opinions work on a film and 3 people think that they are the director and they are the main story artist, that doesn't always make a good film, or that rarely makes a good film, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, as far as short films and games are concerned right now, actually film funding is pretty cool in Germany, especially compared to other countries where you always need to have like a commercial, like you need to make your money back, and making your money back is very hard with animation, very hard with games and films. Soda Pop, another great animator from Germany is Yen Yen. He's on YouTube as well. I don't think I know him. I mean, I probably, like, I watch a lot of YouTube animation. I probably have seen stuff. The most European thing, Eurovision Song Festival, the song contest. Oh, I love it. I love the Eurovision Song Contest. Every year I get some of my friends together and we watch those glamorous, kitschy, over the top song contests. It's so much fun. It's so crazy. And I mean, quality wise, music produced in the US is better than the Eurovision Song Contest, but it's so silly and fun and over the top. It's a very fun evening. And then, you know, in the end, every country gets to vote, and a lot of people vote for their neighbor country. I don't know, because maybe it even is because, you know, taste is like connected to a region or something like that. But then you're always like, oh, please Netherlands, give us points. Please Austria, give us points. Germany is always last. Well, not always, but often, unfortunately. And Britain is also last very often. And yeah, so it's just a hell of a fun time. Can I go from 2D animation to 3D animation or even illustrations. Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists do it. Like, I like to describe my job with the typical, like, everything with media. I do everything, like illustration, 3D, 2D, whatever opportunity I can find. You know, it's sometimes out of desperation because I need a job, I need to make some money, and sometimes it's like I want to do something else. You know, I'm doing a web design, front end design job now 3 days a week because it's different from animation. It's good to just think about coding problems for a change than just creative problems. So whatever you're interested in, just start doing it. Just start, you know, there are books about it, there are courses about everything online. If you're like, hey, I want to try book illustration, go ahead and start it. I can only motivate you to branch out in all directions. For sure. All right. People are checking out Yen Yen. Good. Wish I could be more liberal with like checking out other people's channels and other people's work on stream, but you know, it's always the copyright strikes and the stuff. Kinda difficult. He's kind of doing a step here, so in the middle of the animation, let's have him dip. Oh! Not like that. Have him dip down a little bit. Little bit. Like that. Ah, now we have a step, ladies and gentlemen. That was important to have him go down a little bit. Can actually ease that. Oh, this is handy. We see a little chart. That's a useful little chart. I don't want to dip his head too much, because that gives you like kind of like a wobbly chicken head kind of thing. Ido says, I want to work at Pixar as a 3D animator. Should I learn 2D as well? You don't have to, but if you're interested in 2D animation, you should check it out. A lot of the principles are the same. Like, I mean, the principles of animation are the same, no matter in what medium you animate. But, you know, it's a different approach to it. It's a different possibilities, different feeling to it. I just recommend everybody to check out different styles and different things and see what they like best. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? Let's construct the pose that we want to have him in after he already turned. So for that, we can use the handy 360-degree thing. I love it so much. We could just have him rotate. Something like this, I think. Where the details already start coming up is nice. He's a bit hunched over in the animatic, so we're gonna do that too. Gonna have him maybe looking straight, but being like hunched over. And then kind of like going into like a walk cycle kind of thing. Yeah, fellas, that 360-degree thing is very cool, isn't it? That's Harmony smart bones that allow you to animate Moho's smart bones that allow you to animate blend shapes like that. And can save a lot of work, you know? Because now we don't need to put him into that pose. So let's have him dip down here. No, or dip up. Yeah, I should probably dip up here. Just slightly. No, I don't get a copyright strike just for mentioning people. Who inspired you to animate? There's a question from It's Panda. And the very boring answer to that is the Disney films. The old Disney movies like Aladdin and Lion King. Those were the movies that I grew up with and that I loved. And I didn't know much about animation or how it worked. I just know that I just knew that I loved these characters and these stories. And I was drawing all the time as a kid anyway, and continued that and knew I wanted to go to art school. I want to draw too. I want to do these things too. Only to find out that there are no amazing animation films being made in Germany. At least not on that level, you know. If it comes to feature animation. But yeah, I had the great luck to end up at the Filmakademie Baden-Württemberg, which is a really great film academy for animation. And a lot of inspiring teachers and people there. My teacher there, Andreas Hykade, he's like more of a artsy kinda experimental animator, but really good short films. Very fun, very creative. And then I became more interested in who actually made the Disney films. And it's so cool if you look into like The Nine Old Men, if you look into Milt Kahl and his pencil test, his animations. There are a couple things that really impressed me so much. Like Milt Kahl's animation test of Shere Khan from Jungle Book. And you can see how on paper Shere Khan gets up and turns, and the stripes make him feel so three-dimensional. And so, like, that was when I realized, like, oh, I want to be that good with drawing. I want to be that good with volume, stuff like this. Jungle Book, really inspiring film too. I love this scene. Like, my favorite scene is Kaa and Shere Khan talking, and you get this vibe that two mafia bosses are talking to each other. They're being very polite, very friendly, but Shere Khan is also like, you know, casually looking at his claws and being like, I could kill you, I could, I don't know, I don't have time to be hypnotized, sorry. It's so amazing, such a great scene. So yeah, I'm very inspired by by movies. And recently, what inspired me a lot were like TV series and streaming series getting better and better. Like I love Steven Universe. I love the She-Ra reboot. That stuff like that gets me very excited for animation and for wanting to do animation myself. Yeah, so the people behind that, like Noelle Stevenson, who did She-Ra, really interesting. She gives very, very insightful, very interesting interviews. Rebecca Sugar, who made Steven Universe, very interesting. How they got in their positions, how they developed their material. Yeah, and then, you know, other great animators. Glenn Keane, of course, amazing. Animated The Beast in Beauty and the Beast, Tarzan, Aladdin. I probably forget a million. I love Radigan in the Basil the Mouse Detective, also animated by Glenn Keane. So it's so delightfully evil. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that inspire me. Oh, Phineas and Ferb is very fun. It's Panda. It's really cool. I love it. I love Dr. Dovenschmerz. Oh, what is his name? With that German accent. Very good point from Fallers. If there's no art school in your country, you can learn from online courses. In Skillshare or just in YouTube. Definitely, huge recommendation. I'm always blown away by Skillshare. Like, I have my classes now on Skillshare too. And there's so many other great artists doing classes there. Really amazing classes. Draw with Jazza is there, giving classes. Proco is a good... Proco.com, Stan Prokopenko, does awesome stuff about learning how to draw. You can get quite far just online, you know, and then there are also animation schools online, like Animation Mentor, Anim School, stuff like this. But you can even get very far with the free stuff and the affordable stuff, like Skillshare. Ooh, you have Pocahontas and Jungle Book on 35mm film? Like the film wheel that they send out to the cinemas? You can own these? That's cool. And you can see the multiplane camera and stuff on it. That's cool. That's amazing. And the pegs. I've never heard about that you can zoom out on the 35mm film and still see all these things. I didn't know. But yeah, Pocahontas is a really nice film too. I like Pocahontas. It's so interesting how it was like the story between Pocahontas and Lion King being developed at the same time. And Pocahontas was the one where all the old school pros were working on, and everybody was like, oh, Pocahontas, that's gonna be the big one. It's gonna have, it has romance, it has action, it has everything. And then Lion King was like the newbies, you do whatever, you like they kinda didn't expect Lion King to do that well, and then it was like, it was reversed. Pocahontas was kind of like, okay, in the box office, and Lion King was like the big success that everybody loved, and I think you can really feel how, you know, because they were given some more freedom, they didn't have all this pressure on them. They came up with some really cool ideas in Lion King, with some really creative and amazing scenery and characters. But I mean, Pocahontas is works too. It's a great movie too. Dominic says about the 35mm films, it's usually masked off. Yeah, but I didn't know that they wouldn't do the masking before. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it also makes sense to photograph the stuff from a little further out, because, you know, if you're too close and you realize that too late. Soda Pop recommending a good book about color theory. That's maybe something I should really get into too. But it's Panda. There might be art schools by now in the Philippines. Like there are animation studios there growing, and not bad ones either. Like I think there, you know, there's stuff in motion. There might be animation schools or at least workshops popping up if you keep an eye out, if you maybe go a little bit more into the student art scene and see what you can find. Prince of Egypt, that's also a nice film. I think, to talk about another great person, James Baxter worked on that one. Really amazing animator, still very active today. Dominic, 35mm is 4:3. So a lot isn't shown when you project the cinema format 1.89:1. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, I need to get more water, take a short break, and then I'll be back and we gotta finish this animation. So I'm looking forward to doing that and seeing you all in just a little bit. Okay. Now let's see if there are any more questions that we can tackle before we jump back into animation. I have too many windows open. It's Panda State here again. Almost 11 PM though. You might want to get some sleep. Oh yeah, 35mm projection, 1.85. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, it's just 7 people watching or something like this. I kind of do like this. Like sometimes on the bigger live streams, like we had live streams where there were like 50 people, then the chat already picks up so much. I kind of do like it, that it's like a cozy small group of people just chatting about animation and what they like and stuff. It's quite nice this way. Okay, so maybe we should actually try it with interpolation. I'm gonna put a keyframe here on 27. Just here. Add keyframe. Maybe we can get away with not keying the sublayers. But yeah, everything seems to have a keyframe. That's good. So now we're gonna switch this to smooth. Isn't that cool? And we got it all animated. That's good. So let's see in the middle if we actually go up. And this, of course, is smooth keyframe 2. Thoughts on Blender 3.x and Grease Pencil. I haven't looked what's new in version 3 of Blender. I totally should check it out. I tried the Grease Pencil recently. Liked it okay. There were some weird things when it came to coloring where I was like, this is kinda making production a bit more complicated than it should be, but maybe I also still only have to find some workarounds and ways to deal with that there. But yeah, no, I love the idea of it, and I love that they're working on it, and it's already used in a couple productions, so I'm very excited to see how it develops. Because I think, you know, drawing something in 3D software with 3D backgrounds just makes a lot of sense. But I should totally check out what's new in 3.0. Too smooth. We're animating smooth now. To save some time. And we should keep that pattern that now we have him take another step up. This is so helpful that we see the motion path. Then we're gonna have him do another step and come down again. And then another step where he comes up. And let's see if we actually stretch this out. See how this looks. Maybe you should already cover a greater distance in these other frames. And here. And here. Is Grease Pencil vector-based? In a way, it's vertex-based. It's actually 3D points in space that are being connected to a mesh. So yeah, it is vectorish in nature. And the cool thing about its 3D 3D nature is that, you know, it works in Z-space. You can have a stroke coming out of the Z-space towards you. You can do that in other 2D animation software, like in Harmony. You can rotate a layer in 3D space. That's kind of what you can do in Blender too, but in Blender you could also have it go left and right and go through 3D space. Or you put it on flat planes, something like that. Thank you, Kiki. Yeah, I like the penguin. He's kind of like pretending to be like a super tough detective, but of course he has a sweetheart. Now let's offset the turn a little bit. Where is that? Let's complete the turn later. I think it was good where it was. It's just an idea. Hey World Aquarium Singapore, nice to see you again. Thank you. In Germany, it's 5 p.m. right now. Do you believe that 2D and 3D animation should remain separate or mixed? Sometimes they can be mixed really well, however, more often than not, 3D in 2D looks jarring. For example, 3D crowd shots and cars. Yeah, I mean, I think just like how you can do bad 3D and bad 2D, you can also do bad mixed media. But I love how the lines blur nowadays. Like if you think about Klaus, I love that 3D is shading, which it's still painted. It's still just an insane amount of work to make it look 3D. But I think there are good chances in mixing them, you know. Especially for things that make sense, like cars and vehicles and backgrounds. There are so many advantages if you have that in 3D, and if your characters, even if they're 2D, can move around in Z space. But yeah, if you do it wrong, it's gonna look not so good. But but there are some good examples. Actually, I wanted to rewatch the old Disney Atlantis movie. I already have it ready. Hopefully gonna watch it this weekend. And I saw the trailer and I was pretty impressed with how they mixed it there. Like, it doesn't... Like, you can still see that the cars and stuff are CG, but it's not like... I don't know, it doesn't stand out as much as it does in some other movies. But yeah, that's something that I want to explore more in my work, actually. I want to do more with mixing the media. Okay. World Aquarium Singapore. I like to mix bones and frame by frame. Yeah, and sure, why not? You know, if there are things that are easier in one than the other, sure, why not? So far, everything in here, World Aquarium, is interpolated. It's Panda. Animating is fun and stressing at the same time. That's a very good description. Yeah, I mean, it definitely can be. It can be very stressful, especially when you have deadlines and stuff like that. Or if something is not working and you have deadlines. But, you know, often it's worth it. Often you get something that you can be really proud of. And then it feels like it was all worth it. That's the lie that we tell ourselves. Thoughts on rotoscoping animation? Is it a cheat or just a time saver? Well, huge time saver, and well, sometimes rotoscoping is part of the research. If you do like a very action-based jump, kick, flip thing, like Scott recently did in the live stream, you can see the live stream from yesterday. Scott took a live action video of that kick, spin, flip thing, and took the keyframes from there, took the poses mostly from there, but changed them a little bit. But without researching certain motions, you wouldn't be able to animate them. So very often I think you have to, if not rotoscope, look very closely, analyze it, what is happening when, what happens with the body mechanic, what happens with the hip, with the shoulder and stuff like that. And then use that information to a point where it's kind of rotoscoping, but you know, some motions like fight choreography can hugely benefit from that, especially if you have professional people doing the footage. So what I think is very important though is to give it your own spin, to go beyond reality and, you know, and tweak reality and put your own ideas into it. Just use it as a starting point, is my recommendation. Yeah, Kiki, Atlantis has some really good animation, doesn't it? I love the style, like that everything has these sharp edges and corners and stuff. I Really, really like that. Okay, so now we actually need to think about a walk cycle here. Way before I actually have done any walk cycle tutorials on my channel. I really should do that soon. So we have a low point, which means that right before there was the contact. Actually, these are kind of close together. Like these spacings are very even. Why are these spacings so even? Can I make them less even? Can I make the E's stronger? Yeah. That's better. Let's switch off the animatic. What happens with the head there? That's a bit too harsh. Motion graph? What the hell is going on here? Ah, there we have it. That doesn't help me. I guess we stay with smooth then. Smooth is kind of like only passing them through, I guess. Hey Dark Knight, nice to see you. Regulus, Atlantis, best quote is definitely from Cookie. I got your 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard. Oh, I'm really looking forward to this movie now. Yeah, Dominic, how do you get those 35mm copies? I mean, you also have a projector then, right? Is that all incredibly expensive? But I mean, as far as collection goes, I get behind that. I understand. Okay, what are we doing? We are animating a walk cycle. So, let's say we're coming into a contact position here. And if we are in a contact position, that means we have the arm up like that. And then until next contact position here, we have the arm go back into, oop, that's the wrong bone. We have the arm go back as far as it will go back. Maybe that's a bit too much here. What did we say is our contact position? This one. This one is our contact. So this is the furthest up this will go. Why do I have keyframes here for the arm? Let's get rid of them. So it can interpolate cleanly. I think we need to start the walk earlier. And then also we should find the next contact position for when he comes down with the other foot. Here's the up. And right before the down, we have the other arm going up again. And this should give us the arm motion that we need. Yeah. I don't see much of it, but... let's get that patch to a good position. Maybe like this. That's good. Giving us some nice 3D-ness for the shoulder. Yes, I'm using Moho. Dominic says for the 35mm copies, a full movie you pay 400 euros. You've paid 400 euros on Pocahontas. Okay, yeah, that was kind of what I was estimating, that it is an expensive hobby, an expensive collection. But I mean, you know, there's other stuff you can collect that costs a lot of money. And that's certainly cool to have something that you can pop into a projector and watch and enjoy and see the stuff around the movie that not many people got to see. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then the price is probably open-end depending on how rare or what movie it is. I think the Animator Survival Kit is definitely worth reading. Has a lot of, like, actually, you know, the Animator Survival Kit is best when you're not just reading it, but when you're actually animating the stuff that it talks about. Because there's a lot of like instructions on how to animate certain things, and you learn the most when you actually apply the knowledge and do it. Let's have this start slower on force. Not sure if that's gonna work. Where is the arm? Here. Let's hide them later. What is it doing with the head in the preview sometimes? I don't know. I like it how we had it. We're getting there. Dominic says a lot of films are about 2.6 kilometers long. That's crazy. If you think about what it costs to develop 35mm still pictures, it's still pretty cheap. Yeah. Really cool. Fascinating. I find it fascinating to learn about these things that you know, in the film academy where I studied, they even have the camera people shoot on film. Like they have to do one project with actual physical film, but somehow it was always like I didn't really get in touch with these things, although I find them really interesting. I can switch these interpolated frames, I think, to 2s. Yes, I can. Yeah, I think we got it. When does the animatic end? Here at frame 65. All right, so let's change that in the project settings. And frame 65. Okay. Ed Hayan asks, best free editing software for animation, and Sodabob is giving the answer. It's DaVinci Resolve, and I can only agree. It's really powerful video editing software, and the free version is already amazing. Yeah. Bye, it's Panda. Have a good night. Okay, then let's render this, and while this is rendering, maybe we have some more stuff we can chat about in the chat. Export animation, same folder as project. Well, it should have a, it should be in a render file. Render. And it should be PNGs and full dimensions. All right, I think that's it. Gonna have this render now. We don't see anything because the screen is so large. It's rendering in 4K. Oh, the stream is lagging. This is not a good idea. Apparently rendering and live streaming at the same time is not a good idea. Yeah, Shotcut is interesting too, but I somehow only had problems with it. But yeah, it's a free open source software. Like DaVinci Resolve isn't open source. It's just a bait to get you use DaVinci Resolve, and but it gives you access to amazing functions already. Krita versus Open Toons. I would say personally Open Toons. Krita is good for beginners. Timeline stuff, very accessible, very understandable. But well, I would also say it depends. Like Krita has amazing brushes. If you need those brushes, you can animate in Krita. But there are things like if you copy and paste frames, it makes a new layer, and that's just so weird. And then you have to merge them back, and I don't know. Like there's still stuff that where I would say for a professional production, I wouldn't like to put up with that. But they have, like, Krita has its advantages. The brushes in Krita are amazing. The mirror functions, the doesn't it also have like perspective stuff by now? There are really cool things in Krita. I can totally understand if you're using it. Sodapop's suggestion, use both together. I can totally get behind something like this. And you know, maybe Krita for backgrounds or for I don't know. I would do the even rough animation I would do in Open Toons. And then when you know what your timing is, maybe you could bring it back into Krita and work there. Which is best for low-end PC? Is that what you're asking? I don't know. I think they can be both pretty demanding depending on what you do. Like at big file sizes, I think both can be quite demanding with PC resources. Now, Open Toons, I guess if you use vector layers, shouldn't be that demanding. Definitely give them both a shot. See what you like more. I always advocate for trying as many animation softwares as possible, because then you have a bigger toolbox. You know, you will notice that some software do certain things better than others, and then you can, for a project, switch the software and use the software that is best for your project. All right, so if there aren't any more questions, I would probably call it a day for today. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about 35mm film. That was cool to you know, that's something that I didn't really think about. But I find it fascinating now that, of course, these old film rolls, they must exist still. And it's very interesting, very cool. So yeah, and we got some good animation done, I think. I gotta render this and put it together. Maybe animate the door, but I'm probably not gonna do this live on stream. Like, you already had to bear with me animating a character of which you can only see the back side. So I'm not gonna make you sit through me animating the door. But yeah. Last but not least, I just want to mention again, we have tutorials on Skillshare embedded in our free 2D animation class. It sometimes branches off into Skillshare classes. And one of the Skillshare classes is how to animate this goblin and orc and their little fight here. It goes into pose-to-pose animation mixed with a little bit of straight ahead. And if you want to learn how to animate this animation step for step, please check out the animation course and the premium lesson that you will find in there, animatorisland.com/2D. And another thing that we have a course for is how to animate this logo animation. It's also a bonus premium lesson in the free 2D animation course. Yeah, this is interpolated animation in Open Toons, and it was surprisingly, it was a little bit challenging at first, but I mean, you see the result. You can do very cool stuff with keyframe animation even in Open Toons. So yeah, if that's interesting to you, please check it out. We also have a Patreon if you want to support me, help me make more tutorials, more live streams. Then please support me there. It's very highly appreciated. And one thing we have over there is the group mentoring tier. With the group mentoring tier, you are invited every single month to a group mentoring session where you can bring your work in progress stuff. And I will draw over it, annotate it, give you tips and tricks and advice on how to improve it and how to improve your art and animation and storytelling skills in general. So if that's something that is interesting to you, getting input from a professional on a regular basis, you might want to check out the group mentoring on patreon.com/animatorisland. And yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today and watching over my shoulder. I had a lot of fun with the conversations in the chat. You're an amazing group. And yeah, I hope to keep it up with the live streams and gonna do a new live stream at least once a week. We also have Scott, in case you missed it. He did a live stream yesterday. He's a 3D animator doing some amazing 3D animation. Showed us how to animate a kick spin kind of action, and he's gonna hopefully continue that too. And if you see him, please give him a warm welcome on the channel and ask him lots of questions. He's a really amazing, talented person with a lot of insights to share from working in the industry, working on Netflix series and stuff. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Sodapop. Thank you, Adayan. All of you. And it's Panda. He's already gone. But it's great to chat with you all. And hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.